let's start. We talked a little bit about Pokemon, but what do you see some of these markets that we'll bring up? What's your thoughts on their future activity, price levels, interest amongst people? Let's just start with Pokemon. I
Yeah.
know it started. We give some background. It started as a game. People were playing with things, right? That they weren't grading them and going into that market. So that affects some of the early editions of Pokemon. But walk us through that and then into the future.
Yeah. I mean, I have a lot of concerns when it comes to just the long term value of Pokemon. And I'll explain why in detail. Um, the model I built, which predicts, the next rolling quarter, you can expand it out to a year. But when it comes with like models, the further you go out, like you're going to get less accuracy. So it's
Yes.
like dangerous to try and if I tell you more, if I tell you or you ask me a question like, hey, how much do you think this card will be, you know, let alone next year by December, right? Like the range is going to be way off from what I
Mhm.
say today. So, but the model identifies that. And what it is, it's a Holt Winters model, very effective in sales data. And what it does, it smooths out outliers and picks up a trend.
Okay.
So I built this model November 2020 when all the hype, was starting to happen. And everyone who's been collecting understands the grading process. PSA was going to get hit with a wave of Pokemon. These
Yes.
are like people who kept stuff in binders, buying stuff at Target, and all of a sudden it's like, oh, I'm sitting on a fortune.
Hmm.
And where I sympathize with them is so I'm blessed to have the career I am. It was a lot of hard work, determination, a lot of failures along the way. And I remember when, I was younger, I was working in restaurants, had like trying to go to school, trying to make sure I'm on like a better path. And you're working minimum wage. Flipping a card looks like really exciting. But what I wouldn't have known at that age is that, okay, probably everyone else is doing it too. It's
Yes.
way too easy to get into. You're going to be left with this big backlog eventually. And who could have predicted that, oh man, now they were going to shut down just to clean their backlog? So now you got all this dead weight and it's coming in, and it's making my model just look more accurate and accurate. And it
Hmm.
really identified that a dip was going to really start beginning when their big like celebration deck came out that everyone was excited about. Right before that launch, like I walked through the model on the channel. That feed is called Pokegal. She's a
Okay.
big like Pokemon collector. Um, you know, and she asked me like, "Oh, I know you run a bunch of predictive models. When do you see like, are we in a boom? Are we in a dip?" And I said, "Well, the real dip is coming." And I gave her the date. She's like, "No way, no way! Like the hype, like that big set, it's gonna bring new people." And it's like a non-biased opinion. I love Pokemon. That's what the data is telling me. Like it shows you that. Like it'll pick out outliers, right? Now, I'm not saying it's not a bad collectible to have. It's just you gotta TCs, the print counts. I think what would be interesting, like that set Tops Chrome they used to do,
Yes.
if Tops did a new Tops Chrome with Pokemon and introduced the modern serial numbers. And every time I walk this pitch to somebody, they tell me like you're gonna ruin the Pokemon sets. No, you're gonna ruin it. And they're right because what does that do to your TCG
Yeah.
Charizard that you don't even know the print count
That's right.
versus I can pull a new Charizard that's dude, imagine the insanity around a super refractor.
Super refractor, something out of 25, something out of 50.
Yeah, you know,
Yeah.
but so I still
What about?
like PCing my stuff, but
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the conversations that we have
yeah,
and are
yeah,
beyond
yeah,
what someone likes to collect. It's
yeah,
about what is the overall market going to do? What is the indicator showing us over
But
just
what's good about that model and what I try to provide to the community, right, collecting community, is don't look at it as like negative news. Like I'm saying, like, dude, that's a bad card. Use it to inform yourself, where it's like, okay, maybe I should diversify a little bit.
yes,
Really focus on, like, if I want to collect in this space, get what I really want. Like, don't bother with the low hanging fruit. Like, think of your margin, like, okay, what you're buying at, and you're going to flip potentially to buy more cards, whatever your preference is. Are you prepared for worst case scenario?
true.
That's all I try to show people. And if you're good with worst case scenario, like, more power to you.
So Ranger Second 75th has a question. What's your thinking on Magic the Gathering? And then I'm gonna jump on top of that and say also add in some thoughts on MetaZoo.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, MetaZoo. But we'll start with Magic the Gathering, the
Okay.
question. So, Magic the Gathering, I think it's similar to something that, like, hey, it's had strong organic growth over time. Unfortunately, things that have a really big fandom and a love that have been flying under the radar, there's always going to be opportunistic people out there, you
Hmm.
know. So I would just caution people, if you're seeing your collection go up in price, don't fall into the traps that many have fallen with Pokemon, fallen with other ones, where it's like just within your means, right? I like to tell people on other podcasts where it's like, if you're making the decision between, do I buy groceries this week or buy this new set that's coming out, like, buy the groceries.
Yeah.
Don't bank yourself on like future sales. Now, if it's something you're holding a big collection and you want to share it with the world, like, there's opportunity to be a content creator, right? Go to shows, really be a champion for a brand that you love, something that you probably shared, playing. Like, I don't play Magic the Gathering, but I do understand that, and let's be honest about it, Pokemon stole the gameplay, you know? So Pokemon owes a lot to Magic the Gathering. A lot. What I do like about it, it's still Wizards of the Coast. There's a
True.
lot of Wizards of the Coast characters out there. Like, I've grabbed Marvel boxes that were done by Wizards of the Coast. There's a X-Men Wizard of the Coast set that was to promote the movies.
Hmm.
So not only does it have Wizard of the Coast artwork, it's also got Hugh Jackman promo sets in it. Patrick Stewart. Like, it was a cool set. That's in the sealed collection. Now I'm not out there like, okay, let me get singles, let me grade it, let me. It's not something like I'm well versed on to even know if that's a possibility.
Hmm.
But I think it's a cool collection. Magic the Gathering, not 100% my thing, but just be careful out there. Do research on it. I am guessing that's going to be in the queue someday for me. I got Fortnite in the queue too.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
And then MetaZoo.
Hey, MetaZoo. What do you think?
I think I'm pretty public about my feelings about MetaZoo. I make memes about it a lot. My issue with MetaZoo, and it has a very passionate fan base, and I've seen it grow at conventions, and it's pretty phenomenal, and that's fun. I've seen a lot of people from Pokemon switch over to MetaZoo for the reasons that I think, hey, a Topps Chrome Pokemon set would do well. Is MetaZoo's adding rarity. You know, some people don't like it because they try to say it's like a manufactured rarity. Um,
Yeah, I've heard
it
that.
goes back into the problems with pump and dumping, right? It's like, okay, you got Steve Aoki as a heavy stake in MetaZoo. Um, it's pretty public out there. He makes sure MetaZoo is at every convention. Um, these events where it says like, hey, the $1 million Pokemon break, they're breaking MetaZoo as well. There's educational pieces on it, and he's trying to sell a product. For me, like, I understand that, okay, trading cards essentially are consumer goods. We're
Yes.
consumers. but it's hard for me to stay true to my collection goals. Where it's like I have no personal stake in MetaZoo. I've joked with MetaZoo, and they've jokingly like DM'd me back. I told them that I would open up a box of MetaZoo on my channel live. And to people who follow me, I never go live. I'll open it if they do a Florida expansion set.
Okay.
I'm talking like I want Florida Man in there. There are towns close to me, like Gibston, which is a carny town. And so, like, everything you see on documentaries, like Lobster Boy, was like in that town.
Mm-hmm.
And they jokingly like DM'd me back, and they were just like, "Yeah, we'll do that as long as you can be Florida Man." And I was like, 100% will be. Let's do it. But there's been no follow up. So I am ready to eat my hat on that if they do it.
I got it.
Then I'm personally invested. They got me.
Yeah, you're all in now.
I PC Florida Man.